Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are currently working on passing commercialized agriculture. It's going okay. We're also attacking Uluru right now, and our notoriety is definitely very high. We're working on letting that drop down, but that is going to take some time. We're going to conquer all of Uluru, and after that we're going to just work on managing our notoriety. So there must be other ways to let the infamy drop, right? I'm pretty sure that there are. Accrue primarily from causing diplomatic incidents, yes. Your infamy, yeah. I mean, to some degree, it goes down as quick as it goes down, right? We've got some diplomatic mitigation here, though. My question is, how do we get that diplomatic mitigation? I don't know. There's no tooltip for it, so we'll have to look into that, but for right now, I'm not 100% certain on how that's done. We are going to be coming out of debt here next week, so that's great. And conquering Australia is, of course, going to be not particularly challenging for us militarily, but it may take a while to chunk through this. It may take a bit. That's okay. We're currently working on military statistics. Seems fine. And we're going to continue to work on taking quite a lot of territory out over this direction. So this is all Australia here. This is the US that has colonized this. Yeah, I'm unsurprised about that. This is, of course, us over here. This is, of course, us as well. And then this is China. So at this point, yeah, we have quite a lot of things that we want over here. And we're just going to have to carve through Uluru. They're going to be interested in making peace quite soon. So we're, of course, going for full annexation here. They would currently refuse this deal, which would be expected. We're not shocked about that one at all. And we're going to see what ends up happening with commercialized agriculture right now. I am noticing our radicalism didn't really go down all that much when we adopted public schools, did it? That's interesting. However, our loyalist numbers are coming up. And that is due to increases in standard of living. But standard of living is still a bit of an issue. We don't care about Russia siding with somebody right now. That's not actually a problem for us. Another stall over here is unfortunate. We're going to get the enactment success chance. We can afford to have 10 more radicalism for the peasant farmers. It will cause them to become more radical every month, but not much we can do about that. Uluru is in default. We knew that already, actually. And we cannot currently drop them below 0 because their capital nor the following war goals are being occupied. What is their capital? That would be something that would be good to know. Let's see here. I know it's in here somewhere. Where is their capital? I don't actually know that. Interesting. I know it tells us somewhere. It would probably tell us in here if it's the capital state, right? So, like, if we go to our capital state, we know that Kanto is our capital state. Yeah, market capital here. So that would be how we would tell them. So Northern Territory is the market capital. Gotcha. So that means that we would want to set up a strategic objective of Northern Territory. Okay, sounds good. So we'll push over that direction. We are going to be getting Queensland under our control fairly soon. And we're continuing to push through there. We are now out of debt. So we could consider dropping our taxes, but we actually can't afford it. For the time being, I think this is okay. I want to check in on Hokkaido quick. 133 out of 138. Okay, we definitely don't want to expand anything in Hokkaido at this point. We are seeing about 7,000 people moving in there annually. That is good, but it's not perfect. We may actually want to consider running welfare up here in Sakhalin instead of social mobility. I expect that social mobility, now that we have public schools, is not that big of a deal. So I'm thinking about running emergency relief in these two locations instead. We'll see what that does to our literacy gains. I mean, our institution for education isn't all that high, but we do have the plus 30% education access here. So overall, I think that that'll be useful anyway. And we'll keep an eye on what that does to the actual standard of living here. I believe it has come up. Okay, so that's good. Checking in on our war status, we are pushing over towards Northern Territory, which is, of course, fully expected. That is what we are intending to do at this point. And yeah, we're fighting out over there. There's a bunch of impassable territory down over this direction, though. Yeah, that's also to be expected. This is Australia we're talking about. So that's not surprising at all. And yeah, we're certainly seeing our standard of living coming up. That's good. Very good indeed. Hunan, huh? That's interesting. That's Portugal. So Britain lost control of a lot of things. Britain is actually quite weak at this moment. So we're going to be continuing to make our ascendancy here. We are, of course, attempting to harm relations with Russia. We want to attack Russia at a certain point. 6502 compared to our 8K? Yeah, we're definitely interested in that. Australia began conscription. They are fighting against an aboriginal uprising. Okay, that's fine. Now, military statistics are actually spreading to us right now, so we don't have to be here on military statistics. We can actually drop this research and go for something like trench works. Because military statistics is going to be coming in 4 to 6 months, basically no matter what. So let's get started on trench works. We would love to get access to trench infantry. We're still a little behind on that front. Let's see what happens with commercialized agriculture here. Debate. I mean, that's not great. But the shogunate is happy because of it, and they got rid of their movement to preserve it. So that's a good sign, for sure. And now we're able, because we control at least a little bit of their capital state, we're able to drop them below 0. So that is great. Infertile grounds, huh? I think it's fine for the samurai to get some interest group attraction. I think that's okay. No major issue there at this moment. Speaking of major issues, what are we short on? Opium, coal? Yeah, those are to be expected, to be honest. So we're going to be taking over at least some territory here. What is the population of these regions? It's pretty low. I'm not surprised about that. And then this is the Aboriginal uprising down here. Okay, sounds good. How are we doing on this peace deal? They would accept this. So we just go directly for full annexation. This is now all controlled by the Japanese shogunate. Fantastic. Why is this over here instead of over here? I don't know, but we'll get rid of that. Sure. We are running an opium shortage. That's unsurprising. And we're just going to immediately start integrating these, right? So we need to go into incorporate state. And we'll get all of those incorporating. That'll be fine for right now. The next question is, do we want to start developing these areas? What is the current amount of infrastructure in them? It looks like it's very low. Okay. So for the time being, let's look at government administrations. We could definitely get some taxation capacity. We're currently getting, let's see here, 15 per. So 2, 2, 3. That'll be fine. We also may want to take a look at our infrastructure situation. So South Australia and Victoria both need some infrastructure here. And I think I'm going to do that via ports. So we're going to build up a bunch of ports in all of these locations, and they'll eventually get their jobs going. That'll be fine. So our population went up a little bit. Australia's upset at us. I'm not shocked about that at all. Our infamy is still quite high, so we're probably going to want to chill for a little bit off of that. But let's get these government administrations and ports finished up. Yes, construction efficiency is incredibly low in these areas. And to that end, we might actually want to consider running violent suppression, at least for a bit. We can only do it in 2 at a time, and that's okay. So for now, we know that this was in Queensland and Northern Territory. So I'm going to move any of these that are not Queensland or Northern Territory down. We can see they build so much faster. So Northern Territory, Queensland, and then Victoria. Yeah, that'll be fine. So we'll get that all underway. These are going to build extraordinarily slowly, but they will get better. So for now, that's fine. We'll just do something like this, and then we'll move those as we finish up the constructions of the ports in Northern Territory and Queensland. That's the idea anyway. So the next one is going to end up being Victoria, and that should be reasonably fine. This is still here. Interesting. There's also a revolution to enact landed voting. The trade unions are into it. I mean, would we be into landed voting here? No. We're an autocracy. So the trade union is... That's a lot of states that would secede, actually. Why is the trade union so angry? Out of curiosity. What do we got going on here? So trade unions are currently... What am I looking for? I'm looking for the approval. Is 0. They're neutral. Interesting. -2 from unacceptable governments. I mean, yeah, that's not surprising. So for now, we'll let this go through. My real question at this moment is, can we get commercialized agriculture passed? I'm not convinced we can. I don't think we want to go to landed voting. That said, we're going to have a hard time stopping them with these 4 states seceding. Those are pretty valuable states. But maybe. That said, they're only at 54 high for right now. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. With all of this taken over, we're certainly going to be working on bringing down the turmoil, and the turmoil has already dropped a lot in these new states. So that's looking very, very good. We're, of course, integrating them, and that will take some time. No problem there. We're interested potentially in constructing like logging camps down over here. That would be a very good thing. That said, our shortage is coal. So there is that. But we'll see what ends up happening with this. I'm betting at this point that this revolution isn't going to be a thing. That's my theory anyway. Let's see how we roll on commercialized agriculture. Our highest chance is success here, but the next highest is stall, which is kind of insane. We'll see what happens. And we rolled stall. Okay. So we're going to have to take a setback here, which is gross, but okay. We also have an Aboriginal secession. These guys were just conquered, like, moments ago, and personally, I don't think that this should be allowed. I don't think that they should be able to do a secession this quickly. There's not really a way to stop it other than reducing their turmoil, but their turmoil is high because we just conquered them. So we're going to have to reconquer the Aboriginals because of this. I personally think that this is something Paradox should fix. This should not happen this quickly. Like, literally, they were conquered how long ago? Less than a year. Less than a year, for sure. But there's nothing we can do about it. It'll just happen, and we'll just have to send forces in. So that, of course, means that we should cancel all of... Well, we shouldn't, though. Some of these will go away. Some of them, they might actually build themselves. I don't know. So they secede here, right? And now... we are going to be... What is this war? We're on the side of Australia against the Aboriginal uprising? They've joined this uprising. What is going to happen here? I have no idea. Is Australia going to get all of this territory? I don't know. This is going to be very interesting. Australia is currently interested in a white piece, and we're obviously not interested in a white piece. We'll be arriving here quite soon. I'm going to mobilize these guys, and I'm going to go do a naval invasion of Tasmania. And that's going to be with these guys. Okay. So we're going to head down there. We'll be arriving at this front in 3 days. I did not expect that these wars would be merged together. But okay. So we're going to start pushing through over here. Australia is actually quite low on their war support right now, but the Aboriginals don't actually have any resources here. But yes, I believe that they should not be able to do a secession that quickly, in my opinion. And this is the Aboriginal military revolt over here, which I think is actually different. So, risky food substitutes, or we could get additional agriculture throughput, and that's what we'll do for now. So we'll reduce the chance of revolution there a little bit. Seems okay. Hopefully we pass commercialized agriculture. That would be good. And we're just going to continue pushing through over here. Shoin Mitsune is going to be... Okay, they're actually already attacking down here, I think. No, this is Kodama. We're actually able to get here. Okay. Noted. So this naval invasion, quote-unquote, failed, but it didn't actually. We'll just send them out over here since they're already mobilized. This is fine. Enact regulatory bodies. We would be okay with enacting regulatory bodies, actually. That would be pretty good. Okay. So radicalism is creeping up. There's no doubt about that. We're going to have to continue to push through here. Australia's losing this battle because our forces were technically not present, which is awkward because technically a new front broke out over here and then was immediately crushed. But now we have two forces over here, and we're going to be pushing through this quite quickly. So at this point, Australian war support cannot be reduced below 0, so this seems reasonably okay. The Aboriginals are going to be crushed here. But we'll see what ends up happening with that. That's going to be very strange. No doubt about it. Our infamy is down to Notorious, 68. Okay, that's progress, for sure. But yeah, we had like 3 weeks of controlling the majority of Australia there before they just seceded. I don't think they should be able to do that quickly. It's insane how quickly they can do that. But we'll reconquer them. And hey, we passed to consideration here. That looks good. We would love to enact regulatory bodies, and that might actually make the trade unions happy enough. That might make the trade unions happy enough to give up on this revolution. We would prefer that. The samurai are getting bellicose. Okay. Yeah, we'll get some samurai interest group approval and political strength. That's okay for now. So we'll continue to press on through the Aboriginal uprising here. They're going to continue to go negative quite soon. So, yeah, this is very awkward overall down here. Very, very awkward indeed. But we'll see how it ends up going. Hopefully commercialized agriculture is going to hop straight through to adoption and then success. We'd really like to get the shogunate less of a thing. That would be great. But for now, we're not really in a position to do that. We're not able to remove the shogunate from the government just yet. We'll get there. This revolution is, of course, ticking on forward, but its radicalism is not super high. We do need to work on getting the radicalism down. There's no doubt about that. Who is this that would step down? Our current shogun. Do it. Okay, so our shogun steps down. That's fine. We still want to enact commercialized agriculture. That would be the idea here. We want to get the shogunate out of government, right? So enacting commercialized agriculture would be absolutely great. We're not attempting to modernize in any meaningful way. We're not attempting to get off of autocracy. I don't think our shogun stepped down. I think this is the same guy, isn't it? He's also hated. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, he's reserved and bigoted. I wouldn't mind him stepping down, actually. We could have him abdicate. Do it. So he's going to abdicate. And we would hold a grand public coronation. 1% of pops become more loyalist. Cool. So we have a new shogun here. And he should be a more popular shogun, in theory. Yeah, he's definitely more popular. He's at plus 25. So that's something, anyway. So we could definitely order a withdrawal here, and we'll do so. It went up, but that's fine. Okay, so this all looks good-ish. We need to get the Aboriginals under control, of course, and the Shogun abdicating apparently massively raised up the radicalism. Sure. Uluru did capitulate. Good. So there's that solved. Hopefully they don't secede again in 4 seconds. We need to reincorporate these. There we go. So with those reincorporating, then the question becomes ports? Yes, is the answer. The answer is yes to ports. And and then government administrations. So looking at taxation capacity here. Okay, that looks reasonably fine. So we're, of course, going to have to... Actually, the turmoil here isn't nearly as bad. Noted. Minus 24%, minus 60% in Victoria. Yeah, I mean, that's fine, though. And we hit another stall here. Wow. Okay. We are really having a hard time passing commercialized agriculture. Like, really hard time. We're also quite negative financially right now. And I'm wondering, is that due to welfare? No, actually, it is not. It's just due to goods for military buildings. Opium, specifically. So, opium is obviously a problem for us. We want to import just as much as we can. But there's not a lot that we can import. Everybody needs opium. So, I don't suppose we can get any. No, we don't really have any opium in this region. So, it's going to be tough. We could certainly consider dropping our medical aid. And that's what I'm going to do for right now. We could also bump this on up, and we can go to industrial ports. Railways, I want to be on cargo prioritization and government run. There we go. And we also want to make sure that these production methods are reset. So everywhere, let's reset all of the production methods. Okay. That's much better. The mob is approaching, and we're going to order the troops to stand down. Hey, we succeeded. So we got some loyalists out of that. That's good. We absolutely need loyalists here. What is our current government acceptability rating? 43? Noted. We really want commercialized agriculture to pass. Unfortunately, that's still a ways away from us here. So we're going to be building these government administrations and ports. They're going to be done eventually, but they will take some time. That is expected. Shift work unlocking gets us economy of scale building cap. That's good. Economy of scale is going to be very, very, very useful for us. So that's okay. No problem at all. Rubber mastication is currently spreading to us as well. So we have low standards of living in a lot of these Australian areas. That's deeply unsurprising. It will take time to get those up to a reasonable standard. But that's okay. I want to know what the population situation is here. Okay. We've actually got a decent amount of migration in some of these areas. So that sounds good. The procession of provocations, sure. We can let this procession go ahead. That's fine. We'll let this drop down. They're currently at 66. It's continuing to tick up in terms of their supporting. Yeah, there's a lot of radicals there. No doubt about it. So we'll just continue to tick on forward here. We really want commercialized agriculture to pass. We've had terrible luck on it thus far. The best odds are success, and then stall. And we've just been rolling stall after stall after stall. We'll see what happens, but it's not looking great on that front. These guys did drop down to 64. That's a good sign, actually. Radicalism has dropped a little bit. Noted. Java has a capitalist revolt going on. That's also noted. That's very intriguing. And we are fairly negative financially right now due to a coal shortage. Okay. Not shocked about that one. Are we getting any workers in our coal mines in Hokkaido? Not a single one. Okay. So we're just lacking workforce in Hokkaido, right? There's a big part of that. We are gaining about 8K there per week, but... Endangered gold reserves. We don't actually care about our gold interest rate. So we're going to go for the better odds here. And hey, we succeeded. Excellent. So, I mean, we do care a little bit, I suppose. We are technically in debt right now, but once we finish up these constructions, we won't be in debt. So that's not that big of a concern. Hey, we got a debate at least. So minus 20% enactment time? Sure. I guess that's fine, but this is still going poorly on the law front. This revolution, if it happened, would be painful, to be sure. Chubu, Tohoku, Chigoku, and Shikoku all revolting, with possibly Kanto and Kyushu. That's basically our entire home islands. That would be rough. Dialectics have been unlocked, and that allows us to bring up our education access, so we'll do that. For now, that's okay, and we're going to continue to work on our ports. The ports are going to be finishing up or some of the ports, anyway, are going to be finishing up fairly soon. So that's fine. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we'll see what happens with this revolution. We're hoping that we pass commercialized agriculture and get regulatory bodies going here. That would be the goal. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.